Is Michigan going to make it 5 in a row? Let's talk about it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.
I guess he's gonna have to hitchhike to the national championship.
The intro never gets old. Welcome back, everybody, to the South End Zone. My name is Tyler, joined always by my good friend Chad. We have been so lucky during this rivalry week and Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody!
Yes.
To be joined by our resident Ohio State homers, Jeremiah and Drew.
Hey.
Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Before we get into anything, I want to make sure to tell everybody to like, share, comment, subscribe. We appreciate y'all stopping by. We got a massive week of college football, the best week of college football, in my opinion. So many amazing games. Screw that slate from last weekend. We're going to talk about a couple.
Yeah, it's rivalry. It's rivalry week.
It's rivalry week.
It's that big rivalry that goes back centuries between LSU and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows about this one.
Ooh,
it goes back.
Time.
It's timeless. It's I'm so high. What the hell? Why is this our rivalry week game? Like, what are we doing?
Make it Arkansas. Make it Arkansas.
Just trying to force it. Like, here's your rival.
Who would LSU's be?
Arkansas. They play for a trophy.
Yeah. So the crazy part is we have a bunch of rivals.
Yeah.
That they have another rival that's more their like Ole Miss and LSU have a huge rivalry, but Ole Miss and Mississippi State it's an in-state rivalry. We have a huge rivalry with Alabama, but they've got Auburn. We've got this thing with Arkansas, but then Arkansas has Texas, and it's just we have a big rivalry with A&M, but theirs is with Texas too. So it's just we have no natural.
It should be Arkansas because they play
rival
for a legitimate, gigantic axe golden thing that could hurt someone.
But you guys already played Arkansas, right?
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago.
They play them in the middle of the year instead of at the end.
I think it's just so Missouri has somebody to play. Because traditionally, who would Missouri play this week in the Big 12?
I think they should play Oklahoma.
Yeah, that'd be it.
That make more sense.
Or just let out of conference rivals still be a thing. Like we play out of conference, so does Florida every year. So Anyway, before we get into rivalry week, we have just a few games to kind of touch on.
Yeah.
Before we get from this past weekend,
it's drive-by time. Let's go.
Drive-by time. Can we add it to the stage? All
LSU beats Western Kentucky by the skin of their teeth. The defense dominated this game. Western Kentucky took their first drive, went down the field, got a field goal, and that was pretty much it. LSU just slammed the door. But late in the game, up 13-3 because Michael Van Buren couldn't get anything going. The offense couldn't really get anything going. We tried to run the ball to salt it away, and Harlan Berry gets it's just very bad ball security. Gets the ball punched loose. They house it. So now it's 13-10 with like a minute left. Thankfully, we get the onside kick, so it's over. But just an ugly, ugly way. Now, Western Kentucky is not a bad team, but they're not a team that you should be losing. I mean, look at the spread. The spread was 24.5. How are you letting them almost beat you? It is what it is. The Frank Wilson era is almost over. I feel like and I love Frank Wilson. He's just not the guy to be the head coach at LSU right now. But great recruiting coordinator, loves the guys, and like a great dude to have on your staff because he brings a lot to the table beyond just his relationships with players. But it looks like Lane Kiffin is the guy, and we should find out in a few days. I think Saturday is when they're supposed to announce it. That is just a crazy whole shit show that we will have to do another show about because I don't know. This whole calendar that the NCAA put together is really goofy. I know it's hard because you got college schedules and like enrollment that makes it to where the December thing is a thing. But I think they could make an allowance where you could, enroll in a school in February and still be able to catch up if that's the case, just to not screw this
or just do one in the spring and then so many people are canceling spring ball anyway.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you have dudes who want to enroll in the spring semester, right? And so it really, there's a lot of guys who start off way ahead of the game because they've already had a whole camp before summer and fall camp starts. versus the guys who don't enroll until August. They only get that fall camp so that's why the freshmen typically have been way behind, and it takes them a year before they can really get significant playing time. But anyway, that's enough about that game. You guys blew out Charlotte. Have anything to add to this besides you blew out Charlotte?
5 touchdowns all on the ground. Nate Frazier had 2. True freshman Bo Walker, 3 touchdowns in his freshman debut as Chauncey Bowens is rehabbing an injury, hopefully to be back against Tech. Gunner did throw a pick that was kind of gross, but we'll move on from that. He played like the first half, and then like a drive in the third quarter, and then we put all the backups in, which is kind of what you want leading into rivalry week. But we did not play a conference team in Rutgers and set our starters. We actually just played 1-10 Charlotte. At least we called it how it is. Anyway, yes, we took care of business, and that's that.
So this is just evidence that like even when you have a conference that says that they play more conference games, in our cupcake week, there were still just as many significant, meaningful matchups in the SEC as there were in the Big Ten.
Let me also say this. Dan Lanning.
This is one of them.
Dan Lanning was literally our defensive coordinator and had the audacity to be like, "Oh, we're playing meaningful football because USC played Oregon," and he's just like, "Oh, we're not playing Chattanooga State." It's like, buddy. Just because the Big Ten has to play all of those teams 3 in a row in the beginning of the year, like I'm not saying that like I'm like, oh yeah, like we as the SEC should continue to play all these. Like
we're not going to. We're playing a 9-game schedule,
right? We're switching to, but like I'm just saying, like just because we don't play them all 3 in a row in the beginning,
there's no college football preseason, so all the cupcake games should be at the beginning.
Except that we play somebody,
but we also pick up a lot of big out of
in the first week or two. Usually, it's the first week. I mean, we played Oregon.
Yeah, we played Oregon and Clemson back-to-back years.
Yeah, it's like we're not playing.
Anyway, that was my spiel.
Yeah. But yeah, so the other big game in the SEC this week was this Oklahoma-Missouri matchup where Missouri had a chance to knock Oklahoma out of the playoff, but Oklahoma got it done. Really. Like tough defensive game. Missouri actually had this game somewhat under control for like a quarter and a half, and then Oklahoma just hit a big play and then got another big play. Next thing you know, it's like they just kind of slammed the door and that was it. Missouri couldn't get anything really going offensively. Shout out to Bo Perbula though for coming back from a dislocated ankle in like 2 weeks. I don't know what the deal is.
I was like, he's playing.
Yeah. Well, they said that he didn't have any fractures, so it was like. I guess the dislocation didn't do that much ligament damage.
It was just like pain, man. I guess if you can walk on it, you can play on it.
It just seems like a dislocation requires so much ligament stretching. I don't know how you weren't loose. Yeah,
foot was sideways.
It looked like his leg was. His career might be over, but he's back playing. Shout out to Bo.
Not well.
So this one did not go according to plan. Apparently Narduzzi was right. It doesn't matter if you get blown out by Notre Dame because you can just come back and beat Georgia Tech the next week and be right in the thick of
man. I love Haynes King. It is nice to see the pride of Oregon, Ohio. Mason Heinschel, who was a 6-4 high school team last year. Now he's a true freshman, kind of absolutely lighting it up, except for against Notre Dame. Georgia Tech has no defense. However, I still think their game, which we'll get into with Georgia, is going to be interesting. It was last year. It shouldn't be, but I think it will be.
It absolutely will be.
Yeah.
But I was bummed.
Right. Oregon gets it done, takes care of USC.
Great game.
This was one where it was like these two teams were kind of playing for their playoff lives because if USC wins this game, they're in. And if Oregon loses it, I don't know that they are.
I mean, that's the same thing with Oregon this weekend with Washington. To be honest.
Washington, yeah. Like I don't know if Oregon survives if they don't win that game, and they're going to Washington, and that's actually like you go back the last few years, that's been a big one, especially with the Penix-Nix battles.
Dan Lanning has never won in Washington.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a big one, but so USC has been bounced from the playoff hunt. But Oregon is alive and well. But yeah, they got to go take care of business in Washington this week. Notre Dame. This was like unreal.
That was fun. It was 21 to nothing, and CJ Carr and Jeremiah Love didn't even take the field. It was similar to Syracuse's game against Pitt last year, where Kyle McCord threw all those pick sixes.
Mm-hmm.
This apparently is Syracuse's worst margin of victory since the 1890s.
Yeah, I felt bad for Fran Brown. Without Steve Angeli, that team is definitely a shell of themselves. They probably would have gotten throttled anyway.
What's crazy is I'm pretty sure that Syracuse, what was it? CJ Carr threw for less passing yards than they did points. He threw for like 60 yards, and they put up 70. Absolutely absurd.
Yeah, Notre Dame was averaging 17 yards a carry.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Yeah, and I was going to say the craziest part about this game to me is that, I wonder what kind of stat line Jeremiah Love and Jadeveon Price would have had if they had not been up 21-0 when this game started.
Well, I want to know what stats.
When you spot up 21 points, those guys didn't even play the second half. Jeremiah Love had 8 carries for 171 yards. Jadarian Price had 4 carries for 70 yards, 4 touchdowns combined between the two of them, and they didn't play the second half. 241 yards and 4 touchdowns in a half.
That's insane.
And it wasn't even really a half. It was like
a quarter. It was the first quarter. They were like 35
the whole first quarter, they didn't see the field.
They were like 35-0, I think still in the first.
Yeah. So it's
insane.
crazy. All right, moving along. JMU gets it done, stays alive.
Washington State is in every single game they play.
They
don't win a lot of them, but they play with a lot of heart and fight.
It doesn't matter if it's Ole Miss or JMU. It's this score. This is the margin that they lose by, no matter who they're playing.
Yeah, Washington State is like Arkansas. They're except Arkansas has won fewer games. But it's like every game is like a score or two, and it doesn't matter who they're playing. It's crazy, except for Notre Dame, of course, who blew them out. But yeah, so James Madison, they're still the highest ranked, right? It's like them in North Texas.
They gave it to Tulane.
Tulane is ahead of them now. Okay,
which I think is BS. I think it should be JMU, but
yeah,
I agree.
I also think that it's like I do absolutely understand the inclusion of a group of 5, but it comes to a point where it's just like, why are we just trying to find one when there's plenty of other. I can see both sides. I think that obviously they deserve a spot at the table.
I think you have to do it like this, and I think that's why the answer to me is always add more teams. Yeah. I think if you went to a 16 team, it becomes less of an issue. And what you don't want to have is this continuous excuse like they've had in the past of a 13-0 Boise State doesn't even get a sniff.
Well, right.
When there are no undefeated teams except for them, and they don't get a sniff. But a one-loss team gets to play for it. So
I agree, because this I know they kind of put this in to remove the the undefeated UCF debate
the big conference bias discussion. But the problem is what it does then is it allows the door to be open for a bunch of 1- and 2-loss group of 5 teams that now you've got Tulane sitting there with 2 losses, and one of them is to UTSA. And they're potentially going to be in the playoff. And, all due respect to John Summerall and all the buzz he's getting as a coach candidate for some of these big jobs, Tulane is – I would prefer to see them give it to a team that has actually, earned it with their performance on the field with, not losing a game.
I believe it's JMU.
Yes, they do. I do too.
They were close to beating Louisville. They almost had Louisville down in Louisville.
North Texas might have the best resume of everybody. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that they're not going to do the same thing to them that they're talking about doing to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Now that Eric Morris took the Oklahoma State job, this is what I'm saying. This is insane. And nobody's shitting on Eric Morris for leaving his team in the middle of a playoff hunt. What if North Texas actually goes to the playoff and they don't have their head coach?
I heard there's big talks that JMU's coach is going to go to Penn State.
I've heard that too. Yeah,
talks of him either going to Penn State or UCLA.
Yeah, is a candidate.
I don't know why I'd want to go to UCLA. That's like going from Virginia all the way to California, and the cost of living so much higher. Yeah. It's a way easier transition. I mean, look what.
It's also a similar recruiting market going from JMU to Penn State.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, let's get into the preview for this week. Jeremiah and Drew, you only got to wait a couple more games because you're third on this list.
I'm so excited for this game. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited for every game tomorrow. I'm stoked. I've watched so many games now that I don't cover the Buckeyes. I just get to chill and watch all the games. Don't have to do farmers markets this year, so it's been a fun year. Made a lot of money with free money from all these gambling platforms that I would have lost if it was my actual money, but because it was free money, I'm smart enough to realize that, well, they're going to give me some free money, so wins are wins.
Wins are wins.
I love Haynes King. I still think he should be the top Heisman candidate because without Haynes King, that team is nothing. Last year, this game was crazy. It went into like quadruple overtime, and Haynes King was pissing blood for a week.
Yeah.
I just think that this game, and it's at Georgia Tech, right? Or is it always
it's in Mercedes-Benz?
Oh, it's always at Mercedes-Benz.
It's in Atlanta.
Right?
It's not. I don't know why it's not. It's usually like on campus. I don't know why we're doing it.
I think it's because it's more people, probably, right?
Bobby Dodd holds plenty of people.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like the biggest stadium in the world, but it's like not an FCS stadium.
But we're talking about going to a dome where you're like 65, 70,000 people tops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot louder.
I mean, and it's funny because it's like the Benz like right down the street from Georgia Tech. So like,
yeah. So it kind of is a home game for them. I think, from my perspective, I think it's going to be a great game. I'd love to see Georgia Tech pull off the upset because I love Haynes King, and that would kind of automatically, in my opinion, skyrocket Georgia Tech back up to say, hey, we belong.
Yeah.
Because they just beat Georgia. But
the only problem is that then you have, who are they going to knock out? Because right now, the way it stands, the ACC champ is going to get in. And you've got Georgia Tech and Miami vying for an at-large spot because neither one of them is playing for the ACC championship because they both have 2 losses.
We're going to get
Virginia,
into that.
SMU, Pitt, and who else? That's actually in the hunt for the.
Do you want me to go over? Do you want me to go over the scenarios now? Or do you want me to wait until an ACC game to talk about?
Let's wait until we get to an ACC game.
When's the last time Georgia Tech beat Georgia?
It's been over 3,000 days.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I remember it very vividly because they were taking out part of the hedges out and eating it.
The weird thing with Georgia is they seem to like until they boat race Texas, they seem to like really play down. But I've been big in the group chat. Like Georgia always surprises me. I think Kirby Smart loves this team. I mean, they see. I don't think it's their most talented group, but I think it's like probably his most coachable group, and I think it's one of his favorite teams. So it's hard to not go Georgia. It's hard to not see anybody in the. It's hard to not to pick against Georgia, and I think I don't know. So I'm going to be rooting for Georgia Tech, but I think Georgia definitely wins this. I think it's maybe not as close as it was last year because I think that they're starting to peak at the right time. I think Kirby Smart learned a lot last year going into last year's playoff. So that's my opinion.
I think the biggest thing he learned was that good riddance,
Carson Beck. Yeah, geez, that dude stinks.
Deuces.
So, speaking of good riddance, bye, Brian Kelly. I know you guys think that this has a chance of being a game. I actually don't. Like I'm hopeful. And it's kind of weird
for a game.
What's that?
I'm hoping. I'm going to be rooting for LSU.
Yeah,
Brian Kelly's I hate Brian Kelly. I don't know if you could tell. When they hired him, I asked why would they do that. They're like, well, who else? I'm like, that dude stinks.
Well, no. So I actually wanted Lincoln Riley back when they made that hire, and there were some other guys who were like lesser. I think there was even talk of like PJ Fleck at one point and everything. I was like willing to give somebody.
You dodged a bullet on that one.
But this was but this was a in the midst of the Ogeron implosion and all the other stuff. Like we had dudes leaving the team and everything else, and my first response when a friend of mine told me about it was like, really? Brian Kelly? Like he hasn't won a big game. Like I think he's like 1-7 against top 5 and whatever, against the top 25 or something, or top 10 and top 25. And I don't know. It's just once it happens and once you're kind of like hitched your wagons to 10 years worth of that, you kind of have to just be like, all right, well, maybe it'll be different. Maybe it was the resources at Notre Dame. And then he goes, so the part that made me start to buy in was
Jane Daniels.
He comes in his first year and beats Alabama, wins the West, goes to the SEC championship. And we like coughed it up against A&M the last regular season game. and then got blown out in the SEC championship. But you're thinking like, okay, this is year one. Like, let's go. Like, and then it just got progressively worse somehow.
I
That's the part
just don't see him doing well in a state like Louisiana, which is as much of its own country than any state in the South. Like, it is its own culture for sure. And I just I appreciate Louisiana. I have mad respect, and I don't see a guy like. I mean, we don't have to harp on it too much, but I mean, number one, the guy killed a kid, which I always thought was messed up. Like, being up here and having Notre Dame fan friends, and then just like, I don't know. So I'm relieved for you.
Yeah, me too.
And I would love to see a big, because John Mateer has stunk since he had that surgery.
Yeah.
He goes for like big plays constantly instead of when he should check down. They have a really good defense, but so does LSU. So if it's a defensive struggle, the only thing that really hurts LSU is that it's not in Death Valley and that it's in Oklahoma. So I think that's where you're right, where they could really run away. But LSU could really, they could knock Oklahoma out of the tournament. I think they do have a lot of momentum just with their recruit. I mean, you're always going to be top recruiting because of how talented the state of Louisiana is. And if you're good in Louisiana, you don't go anywhere else. So I don't know, man. I would love to see LSU, but I agree with you. I think that Oklahoma wins. It's nothing exceptional. It's like a defensive struggle, like a
look at the over under 37.5. Yeah, we're talking about something that they're expecting to be like 20-17 or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's kind of where it ends up. But I also, it's just the thing that makes me not super optimistic is with Nussmeier still hurt, and Van Buren kind of showing his limitations. He's got some issues with accuracy downfield, like consistency on his accuracy of his throws. And then we've struggled running the ball and protecting the passer, and Oklahoma's run defense is insane, and their pass rush is crazy. And I don't know if R. Mason Thomas is going to be back for this game, but it's going to be really, really tough to go into Norman and with Michael Van Buren at quarterback to actually pull this off without like some crazy special teams or turnovers.
Yeah, we need some nice big plays from LSU special teams and some nice defensive touchdowns and keep the game ugly, make it a Big Ten style game. You know, Kirk Ferentz, your favorite coach in the world, and just really win that way. Special teams and defense, and make John Mateer throw a deep ball, have to beat you throwing deep balls, which he's going to try to do anyway. And I think he's going to give LSU plenty of opportunities to get takeaways.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing. So he's going to have what's his face? What's the guy's name? The Satania.
Yeah, Satania.
Their big receiver.
Yep.
Watch that matchup with him and Mansour Delane. The best corner in football is going to, I think, just neutralize him. Now they may move him around and make it to where somebody else has to guard him. But I think he's given up this year. He's given up like 8 completions for like 30 yards or something like that on the season. And it's I've never seen anybody like just single-handedly shut down a side of the field since you have to go back to those like Charles Woodson type. I even some of the guys that LSU's had who've been great, like Patrick Peterson, he still gave up some plays. He just made a lot of big plays. Mansour Delane is just like as locked down as they come. So they're gonna, we have an opportunity to make some plays in the secondary. It's just whether or not the defense can turn that into points because the offense is going to struggle to put points on the board. Now, the moment you guys have been waiting for.
I just realized that this is all Central Time Zone, so it's like throwing me off. I'm like, whoa, this game's at 11.
When I put this stuff together,
Georgia's playing at 2:30.
When did they change the time?
Yeah.
When I put this stuff
for
together,
sure it was 3:30.
When I put this stuff together, I'm in charge of the graphics, and so
they call that God's time. In some places, boys.
And it doesn't say Central; it just says 11 a.m. So, but
I love it. I love it.
Noon Eastern kickoff. Hey, I apologize.
Why are you apologizing? It's you made the graphics. You're why. I mean,
You're gonna,
listen.
you're gonna confuse your entire audience. They're gonna be like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Hey, I already said Louisiana is its own country. You're just operating out of the country, the great country of Louisiana.
I'm just operating on this massive central time zone. That's all. Anyway, but yeah, so we've talked about this. Jeremiah, right on brand, is terrified of this game.
He's a Doomer fan.
And
I don't blame him.
am not understanding where that's coming from, because as good as Michigan has been lately, you've got a freshman quarterback, and granted, he's been, he's kind of shed the freshman thing now, playing as much as he's played already, but he still has like single digit touchdown passes. And
do you think you dodged a bullet? As an LSU Tiger, like I feel like my cousin is a huge Michigan fan.
Yeah,
like he hates Bryce Underwood. Most of the people in Michigan aren't impressed because they think he's too arrogant, too much of a showboater. They don't like that in Michigan. Yeah. They hated Rich Rod for that same reason.
Well, this is the game where legends are made. So if Bryce Underwood is going to be the guy, this will be the game. That
I don't think he's going to be the guy. I think like the best they can do is have him run. Here's the weird scenario. So I don't know if Carnell Tate's going to play again. There's a lot of rumors around here that
does it matter?
No,
it matter.
Well, so it matters for the playoffs.
It does.
I'm saying for this game specifically. I'm not saying long term.
I think it matters in this game. As long as we have Jeremiah Smith, I think that's the bigger thing. Because if Quincy Porter's healthy, I could very much see Quincy Porter having his like Chris Olave 2018 game, Garrett Wilson 2019 game, which were the last two times we won, and we absolutely boat raced Michigan, blew them out of the water, embarrassed them. I think from the Doomer fan perspective, the thing that is kind of troubling is that we might have to run the ball a lot because of having Carnell Tate hurt. Then we're going to have Max Clare. As long as we got Jeremiah Smith, it's going to be fine. But the good news is Michigan is not as good as they were last year on defense. They don't have Mason Graham. They can't run the ball. They're on their third string running back who's like a true freshman. Their best weapon right now is their great wide receiver, who should be Underwood's best target and weapon. So the odd thing is Michigan is going to try to have to beat us by throwing the ball, and we might have to try to beat them by running the ball just due to injuries, because Justice Haynes is out. The other guy's definitely out, but Sharon Moore, because the Big Ten, you don't have to say who's hurt and not, because of college football's great way that certain leagues don't have to say injuries, and the Big Ten's one of them, which drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And I just think that Michigan had a lot more momentum going into the game against us last year. They just put 50 points up on Northwestern. This year they threw 5 interceptions, missed 2 field goals, and still managed to win in Wrigley, which was the ugliest game ever.
Yeah,
they should not have won that game. Yeah. Then they went to College Park. All right, yeah, you got it.
Dude, here's the stats that get me in the Doomer, in the glass is half empty.
You are just a Doomer fan. It is okay.
Listen,
he has stats.
UM owns a 14-minute time of possession advantage. During this losing streak, Ohio State has completed only 9 deep balls, and last year they completed 0. So if we have to run the ball, that's a good question.
Probably not many.
Hold up. You can't say UM. Like, you can't use the letter M. Like, that's
TTUN.
I just said Michigan because I grew up in Toledo and fuck Michigan. So the team up north thing is like a thing very much so in Columbus, but when you live on the border, it's like a different. Like, what's weird is I had to deal with Michigan fans and got way more shit talked to me as an Ohio State fan my whole life. But I don't think like it's not. I mean, it is pretty devastating when we lose. So I don't have like the same blind hatred. Like, I'm more of a irrational fan, I think, because of where I grew.
Definitely not my category. But my point being is that in 2018 and 2019, the last, when we won these games, we were completing deep balls. We were playing our game. When we try to run the ball, even if that's what we end up having to do, I think it's over. If we're forced to have to run the ball, I don't think we win this game. There's just no way. I think we have to complete deep balls.
I'm in the opposite camp with us. Like I've been so frustrated this year because we will run the ball one time and then throw the ball the next 5 times in a row, and I'm like, what? You can't run the ball up the middle one time and because you only got a yard, like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. That didn't work. Like, no, the way that running games work is you keep pounding away until you pop one and you establish that like push and that mentality. If you don't have that mentality instilled, like I would love to see. I've seen some, and that's one of the things I'm kind of excited with Kiffin coming. Assuming that does happen. I know it's saying a lot. It's an if.
Kiffin could very much be trolling LSU in Florida right now.
He could be. From what I have gathered, though, the sentiment around the building is like very, like they're like extremely like fed up with him and like trying to get him. The thing is, they can't fire him. Because if they do, they owe him $36 million and there's no mitigation. So it's not like you get that money back if he gets another job or anything. This is just like you just pay him $36 million to go away. So he would have to quit. And he's not going to quit because he wants to coach the team in the playoffs. And so they're in like this stalemate as far as that's concerned. And that's why they're so pissed off because he won't sign an extension, but he also won't tell him that he's leaving and take another job. And so it's just, he's got the whole situation by the balls. And shout out to Jimmy Sexton because he negotiated that. But what I was getting at is I love a guy who will just like take a whole possession, just run the ball 9 times in a row. And just be like, we're just going to do this. We're just going to shove it down.
We do that all the time. And they throw in a screen pass in there too.
Yep. And like to think like, I get it where you're coming from, Jeremiah. But like, I kind of feel like,
we've also had better. I would argue that we've had better running backs.
You absolutely
Jim
have.
Tressel,
that is 1,000%
Jim Tressel,
true.
Urban Meyer era.
I agree.
I think having really good running backs.
It's crazy. In my opinion, like if you look at Ohio State over the past 15 years, they've had like on an increasing level, bar none, like the best wide receiver room, like in the country, like as like time has gone on, and like I feel like that running back room has kind of gone the opposite.
I disagree, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Outside of 2019,
I don't know, man. Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.
Whatever.
are
on a
pretty
consistent
amazing.
basis, Ohio
Neighbors,
State
Brian
has the
Thomas,
bar none, like most talented.
I would say they out of like that didn't come from the state of Louisiana. That I would say for sure, but for some reason the state of Louisiana just has amazing wide receivers.
Also, a fun fact about this game.
Too.
Fun fact about this game: if according this is from our good friend Josh Pate, if you took $100 and you put it on Michigan money line starting at the time that they started this winning streak, and rolled it over, I bet you'd be up 25 grand right now. And if you were to do it again and they were to win, you'd be up $81,000. If that's
I just I think it's right. I see. Yeah, I don't think our running backs are the most talented yet, but we got 2 true freshmen that are playing really well, and they're making CJ. They're making Peoples play a lot better. Like he's looking way better. Again, the competition has not been great. So that they're. I
didn't have to. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean it really hasn't been, and it's like so we'll see. We get a nice test, but I think this is the time for Ohio State to really peak. I think this is when, hopefully, we get Big Dick Day coming out.
Must be nice
for the ball. You have the quarterback with the highest completion percentage in the country.
Well, but I mean, like you could say it must be nice, but
that Ryan Day doesn't James Franklin himself
I would love to just play a bunch of like Arkansas and Kentucky's all year, and then just be like, all right. Maybe we have to beat Alabama. Maybe we don't. I don't know. Probably doesn't.
Are you
matter.
Talking about Texas A&M?
Huh?
To Tyler's point,
Are you talking about
James
Texas
Franklin.
A&M?
That will be his legacy. It'll be. Did he James Franklin himself? And any coach that like.
Because I can't say Ryan Day himself, because Ryan Day avenged
Notre
that
Dame.
loss with more. I've never seen anybody avenge a loss so hard in my entire life. But
no, that guy. I just
Franklin in
see.
his pants.
I think he's like a different guy. There's this book that came out from Bill Rabinowitz, who was on the beat. And it was just basically about like the meeting Caleb Downs called after the Michigan loss, which sent them on this trajectory. And there's a time during the meeting where Mitchell Melton, he's on Virginia, oddly enough now. He didn't say who. I'm pretty sure it was Jack Sawyer, but basically Ryan Day was going through, and he was just saying like, they were like, why did we have that game plan? He's like, well, traditionally the team with the most run yards wins the game. And they're like, well, did you ever think it's because that team is up and they're killing the clock?
Yeah.
and then so I think
so
Jack Sawyer then said to him, Coach, when you talk like this, we all hate you. And
Those,
and
the actual words he said to him.
Yeah, somebody said it, and then apparently I was listening to Zach Smith talk about it, and apparently when Urban really caved in at Florida in 2009, when there's a locker room fight, and it was like a similar meeting, Urban kind of caved and didn't go. And Chad and I have talked a lot about this. Urban could never, even at Ohio State, he could not sustain. He'd have these big great recruiting classes, and they'd be really good for a little bit, and then they'd be kind of right there, but they'd lose a lot of big games. And I think, Ryan Day is really the opposite, except for the Michigan game, which even though Urban likes to say 7-0, it's like, motherfucker, you got your ass beat in 2010 against Michigan when you were at Florida.
Yeah.
So 7-1, let's be real. But I just think that I think that I'm hopeful. I mean, listen, if we lose, it's going to be, I'm probably going to be pretty blackout drunk and pissed off and whatever, but thankfully I'm not going to have my kid. So it'll be fine. So, but what I'm saying is that I just see, we're either going to see a really big play out of Quincy Porter. Michigan kind of came out and said they think Max Clare stinks, and I thought he stunk most of the year, but he's looking way better. He's finally kind of catching in. I don't know why we keep this guy Bennett Christian in the game. He stinks. He's one of the many tight ends that play that shouldn't. But I think that we have not really opened up the playbook that much. And
you haven't had to. That's
now you sound like Jeremiah. Now, so that y'all are actually agreeing.
You haven't had to.
We haven't really had to, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I met an Ohio State fan. I golfed with him. He's like, "Yeah, we really don't have to start playing until January." I was like, "That's cool, man. That's awesome. Good for you."
Yeah. Well, so I want to say this though. We would be remiss, or I would anyway, if I didn't bring this up, because the importance of timing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Tyler can appreciate this. I think Alabama fans 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was, can appreciate this. The timing of when different things happen is a big deal. So for everything you said about that meeting and Ryan Day and everything else, if this is 2 years ago and it's a 14 playoff and that loss to Michigan knocks you out of the playoffs, I don't know if he recovers.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think he does.
Psychologically and everything else.
Game with Georgia, I think losing the way they did.
Got another shot to go on a run and got a home game with the 8 seed to start it was massive. And Tyler, the year before that, 5-team playoff. I don't know that Georgia doesn't win the whole thing.
I 1,000% agree.
5-team playoff instead of a 14 playoff.
Yeah.
Georgia's fifth sitting on the outside looking in. Alabama wasn't as good as Georgia that year, but got in.
Lost by 3, and they said, "You know what?"
Against Auburn or whatever.
I still don't understand Kirby Smart's Alabama thing. It's bizarre to me. It's just like Ryan Day in Michigan.
But I don't understand Steve Sarkisian's Georgia thing. Oh, moving on.
Steve Sarkisian's on.
I do understand that though, because I don't think he's that good. But that's
I don't either.
Day.
Yeah.
We'll say this. So the timing helps Day out and helps you guys out because like I explained in our group chat, the fact that you broke that seal now, and now he's got the wind at his back of winning the national championship last year. I don't think he goes into this. Now, if it had cost y'all a chance at the playoffs last year or had sent you on the road to go play Notre Dame and maybe you lose Notre Dame
I think they would have fired him.
Then he's still hearing about it all year.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, fuck you. We're gonna go beat, and now I think he might actually open it up and beat the piss out of him.
He needs to channel the energy he has against Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
This Michigan game.
I think Jeremiah
get angry at someone. Gotta get mean.
Yeah,
Chad's point. After all the complaining I did about increasing the number of teams in the playoffs, and it's the only reason we made it in to win. The whole thing.
No, not only that, the two teams that played for the national championship
weren't the top four.
Would not have been in there. And actually, if you look at it, all of the final four would not have been in there.
Yep.
Yeah, we all lost.
It's pretty wild, man. I think I mean we've talked a lot about the 90s, like how different, like I don't know if that 1997 Michigan team or that Nebraska team win it all in a bigger playoff. I mean, that Florida State team was turning. There was a lot of years where it was like
it was very questionable.
Yeah, it was always questionable. The whole system was stupid. I'm always down for more teams. I know Josh Pate isn't, but I think we could change it so there's more home games and we could cut down the seasons. But I think it's also too, like, I think that there's going to be more independent teams coming up here soon.
True. I don't know how much the NFL wants these kids that beat up going into the NFL, because then their NFL careers will be shorter.
But they don't care.
I think if you go 16, it doesn't really change.
The schedule. I think we did come to a point.
You change the schedule, rearrange the
how long can we give Army and Navy a single weekend by themselves until it's like, okay? Like,
what's weird is
that is part of it. Like that.
It's even weirder, Tyler. Is they're in the same. They're in the same conference now, so they might have to play in a conference championship and then play each other again, which is even weirder.
It almost did. There was.
It did happen last year.
No. There was a path that there was a chance that Army and Navy could have had to play each other back-to-back weekends, and play the Army-Navy game, and then have to play in the American Conference Championship.
Right.
All right. Any other things about this game?
No, I like Ohio State to win, cover the spread.
Me too. I think Ohio State just absolutely mollywops Michigan.
I think they do this year. I'm more confident this year than last year.
And if you don't, that's actually crazy.
Yeah. Well, I don't, but there's a lot of traumatic responses going on.
If Ohio State wins, they'll definitely cover the spread.
There's a ton of Buckeye fans that don't even consider last year's national championship a real one because we lost to Michigan.
Well,
you guys that right now,
and I understand that, but I'll say this. All right, so because if I can give you a window into what it's like to be on the other side of that, okay. Alabama actually lost to us in the regular season in 2011 and then got another chance to come back and beat us in the national championship.
I remember that.
We never got that opportunity. Almost no one ever gets that opportunity. And I'll say, like, it starts to weigh on you, and it's what got Les Miles fired. I think it eventually just like wore him down, and it has gotten plenty of other, John Cooper, you name it. Go down the list of all the different guys who have eventually lost their jobs because they can't win that rivalry, because what traditionally it has meant before a 12-team playoff is that it ruins your season.
Yeah.
And you don't get a chance to play for and win the national championship. So
did Georgia lose
that rivalry? The psychological impact that it has when it costs you everything is way deeper than if it doesn't cost you everything. If you get to go win the national championship anyway, and Michigan has to watch you do it from home, you kind of get to talk shit a little bit, even though they beat you. It's like, whatever, bitches. Like, we don't even care because we got this trophy now.
Didn't Georgia lose in 2021 to Bama and then beat them in the national championship?
Alabama had lost to them and beaten them.
It is the only win over Bama for Kirby Smart still, and that's like the other thing. It's like Kirby Smart is not yet at 20 losses. I think he has 18 or 19, and 8 of them are Alabama.
Well, I think we got the next games, Texas and Texas A&M, right? Because I think Texas is going to beat A&M. It's at Texas. Texas plays way better.
Yeah.
A&M has not really, if you look at their SEC schedule, they have not had a really tough schedule.
They haven't played the tougher teams. But they did beat Notre Dame.
Notre Dame had CJ. It was CJ Carr's second game. That Chris Ash was stinking at the time. But the issue is that A&M gives up points. I think their defense is very questionable. Yeah. And I just don't see them. I think Texas plays really well at home, man. I think Arch is starting to figure it out. Is he though? Is he not on the road? Not on the road. He looks
That's
worse
fair.
on the
Like,
road. At home,
with pressure, with any amount of pressure, we sacked him 3 times, but the amount of like big plays in just yards left unseen because we were even around his feet. He was like trying to he was literally like trying to force underneath. Like guys were dropping balls, or he was overthrowing guys on deep. There was multiple Texas receivers open on plays where we just had incomplete passes because they hit dropping passes and because of Arch. I'm just saying, like I do not believe in Arch Manning.
I
don't
think
either, but I'm with Drew on this. A&M's defense overall, it's kind of crazy. So yes, they've given up some points, but Elko has a really good way of finding a way in the second half to make adjustments and kind of take away whatever you were doing in the first half, and then also to actually create havoc. They've got like some really good pass rushers. They've got some good guys who fly around at their second level, and the other thing is you got to keep up with them because they're averaging like 40 points a game, and Marcel Reed and Casey Concepcion and what's the other?
They're good.
Receiver.
So Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion.
Mario Craver, yeah, those guys are just
studs.
They're good. And then I don't know if Le'Veon Moss is back or not, but Ruben
Owens is also
is a monster. So like, it's just they're a tough team. And yes, I wanted to say, like, Drew is definitely correct that if you look at the resume that Texas A&M has had, it's probably the weakest outside of that Notre Dame win of the SEC contenders at the top of the bracket, right? So a UTSA win, a Utah State win. They had Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, and South Carolina on their schedule. They also had LSU and Missouri, but like really, and they played Samford this past week. So this is their biggest test where they actually have. And then Texas is like the 7th or 8th best SEC team right now. So even with this, if you beat them, they kind of fall into that Missouri category, where I think that's about where Texas is, if we're being honest, is about as good as Missouri. Where if you have Texas go play Missouri's schedule, their records probably look about the same as they do right now. Texas got lucky that they got John Mateer right off of that thumb surgery, and he was not himself, and they broke like a punt return for a touchdown. Otherwise, that's a whole different game. But yeah, I'm with you, Drew. I see Texas winning this game, and that spread at 2.5 kind of tells you that we're not alone, because this should be a 15-point spread if Texas A&M is as good as we think they are.
I think if it was at Texas A&M, they'd win. I just think that.
Yeah, I think it'd be a no doubter in my mind. Like
home field advantage is so huge in college football.
It is. It's monster.
And I just think Texas. I think when Arch Manning has looked good, it's been in Austin. He's
throwing water bottles and overturning calls. And
relax, man. Y'all won the game. How are you still salty about
that? It is home field advantage. I'm agreeing with
you. They gave Texas an ass beating. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah. But they won last year too when they threw water
twice.
bottles on the field. He's still beat about it.
They beat you guys beat them. Yeah. So I see Texas winning, and then because Texas, if they want to try to make a 8-3 argument to get in the playoff, which Sark's going to try to do, they have to. If they beat,
they have to win this game and get
have an argument.
They have to win this game and get help.
They'd have to win by huge numbers, which I don't think is going to happen. But they could.
If A&M loses this game, then their resume comes up, and then it starts to become are they going to get a home game even? But I think
they get a home game. But
he's going to pull the eye test shit out of their pocket.
Yeah. I think
for you, sir.
Then we get Georgia Bama rematch, which I think is going to be pretty interesting.
I haven't wanted it in a while, but I like with the way we're playing ball.
Yes.
Like I want another shot at Bama this year with Kirby.
That's a very different Georgia team right now.
Kirby believes so much in this team. And this team believes so much in each other, and you could see it like on the field in the games. Like he believes in how physical we play. Like he believes in how bought in this team is, Like, I would not be upset at another shot at Bama. And if we don't get it in the SEC championship, or even if we do, something tells me the ESPN Voodoo Magic is going to have us on a collision course in the playoff.
Well, if you guys do play them in the SEC championship game, I think you win, and I think it similar to the Ohio State Ryan Day thing last year. I think it actually could be
Could be very scary for the rest of the. Yeah, I think Georgia is a very scary team because they keep getting better and better and better and better. And I think
it's a championship DNA.
Like I don't know if you were joking or not. You're like, what about Gunner for Heisman? I'm like, I think that's a solid argument.
It is. Yeah.
He's looking better and better and better.
Dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like he
steps up to competition, man.
Like if you're gonna take, all of the quarterbacks at the top have relatively the same numbers ish, like within obviously like Pavia has like the most all-purpose yards I think right now, but if you're gonna ask me who has been tested the most, it has been when called on to win the game or to pull his team out of the jaws of defeat. It is Gunnar Stockton.
I said Fernando Mendoza.
Ohio State national championship. Is that what we're looking at right now?
We'll see how they do the brackets, man. I mean, we got to see how they do the brackets. I think I know Ohio State fans would love to play Georgia again.
Yeah. Well, look, before Georgia and Alabama can play each other for the SEC championship, Alabama's got to get through
Auburn and Auburn.
Ooh, Voodoo Magic. It's the
Iron Bowl.
The Jordan Hare Voodoo Magic is going to be at an all-time high this weekend.
Look at that spread. They know about the Voodoo Magic. And look, I'm going to say, Deuce Knight, actually.
Dog. He's a dog.
I don't know, man. Like, he might actually. Now, granted, the competition was not, not up to par.
But they still have that offense that they recruited, that they got in from NIL. Like,
Eric
I'm
Singleton
saying, and Cam Coleman. I am saying it here and now. You have Alabama to 2-loss. Auburn, fire the coach. Bye-bye, Hugh Freeze. New fresh start. We got to look nice for all the coaches that want to come potentially coach here and whatever, right? They have the roster. They can Jackson Arnold, which is the best decision they made all year. And this, like you said, they played no one.
Oh, they benched Jackson Arnold.
Quarterback is good.
Oh, they benched Jackson Arnold a long time ago.
They canned for a hot sec. They were playing Ashton Daniels, who I don't know what his year is in school, but
it's a great
to
name.
Preserve his red shirt, he stopped playing. So they're now playing a true freshman quarterback, Deuce Knight, who they mollywopped whoever they played this past weekend. He had a 70-yard touchdown run. But what I'm saying to you is with the roster they have on offense, with the guys they have around, and with the Jordan Hare Voodoo Magic, and this is at night. This is not a 3:30 kickoff. This is a night game in Jordan Hare. Auburn's going to beat Alabama this weekend.
Yeah, so true freshman Deuce Knight. Now, granted, it's Mercer. Okay, so take that with a grain of salt. I get it. But true freshman, first start of his career, 15 for 20, 239 and 2 touchdowns. All right, whatever. 9 for 162 and 4 on the ground. So, I mean, he's electric. And that's the kind of thing where, that is like what Jeremiah was saying about Bryce Underwood. This is the kind of game where a guy like that, as the X factor, you just throw the guy out there.
You don't got tape on him.
That's havoc. You don't have tape on him, and and Alabama actually struggles stopping the run, and I think they struggle with running quarterbacks as well. So it's one of those.
That was Tommy Constellanos' whole thing against them, man.
Yeah.
Was he just ran all over him?
I'm calling the shot. Auburn's beating Alabama this weekend.
All right, and this one's going to be really interesting because Mississippi State is hell alive for this one because of all the chaos with Lane Kiffin and everything, and it's almost like I almost feel like it would be a weird sort of relief for Kiffin if they just because this would knock Ole Miss out of the playoffs. It shouldn't, but it would, because the way that they're going to look at this is similar to the Jordan Travis thing, where if Ole Miss loses this game, now they have 2 losses. Now they slide back to 10, 11, 12 or something like that range, but they might push him all the way back out of the top 12 because if he's leaving, then there's, whatever they have going for them, you have to take that somewhat into consideration. It's crazy that this game is, and actually, like, Jeff Lebby has,
they're good. They are a good football
like
team.
enough spot to actually be decent. Like they almost beat Texas. They should have beaten Texas. Yeah.
Who else they have a close game with? They had another close game with somebody they should have beat.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee, yeah.
They've had a bunch of close games in the SEC. Like
they actually had Tennessee down.
They had Tennessee down. They had like a ungodly 17-point lead, I think, over Texas at one point.
Yeah, it was 17-point lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, which is but now Mississippi State is prone to making like compounding mistakes like right in a row to like totally take them out of these games. And that's kind of how like it's happened every time. But they are good. I don't know. I didn't look to see. Yeah. They have enough talent. Jeff Lebby is the coach for this team, and I think that Mississippi State's absolutely live here.
Yeah,
and it would be crazy to see them win. I don't think they will,
Drew has talked about it a few times. That like a lot of times the depth gets exposed. But I think in a game like this, as long as you don't have to dig too deep into your depth, like the Mississippi is a talent-rich state too, and there's a lot of dudes who like. There may be 3 or 4 stars who didn't get that 5th star, or maybe they didn't get that 4th star, but they feel like they're just. And these guys have been playing each other in high school and everything, and so there's a lot of this that becomes like real grudge matchy. I mean, it's any kind of in-state rivalry. This is how it goes. Vanderbilt, Tennessee, another in-state rivalry. If Alabama or Ole Miss,
I got Tennessee all day.
You really?
Yeah.
Okay. It is in Knoxville.
It's in Knoxville.
Plus the points.
But Diego Pavia, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm feeling Vandy here.
Not a believer.
You're not a believer. All right.
No, he's gonna have a great career in the Canadian Football League for sure.
Well, he might not.
I just don't.
He might get playing college football because he's going to get another injunction or something.
Yeah, I think. I also think that Heupel has to win this game. There's a lot of pressure on Heupel.
Bro, there's people who want him to come coach at LSU, and I'm like, why? It's like the same thing as Brian Kelly. He has beaten Alabama a couple of times. I'll give him that. So he has like somewhat of a win big games DNA to him, but not.
He still's the right fit at Tennessee, in my opinion.
He finds this way to like they always end up going like 8-3 or something. Like
yeah, he's a really good. Like Tennessee reminds me of a really good Big 12 team from like the 90s, or when he played early 2000s, like a good Oklahoma team.
So if we put
or like Iowa, if they didn't lose that 4th and 5th game every year.
Yeah, I would say that. I don't know, man. I like Tennessee.
I like Vandy.
I just don't. I'm not a believer in Vanderbilt. I think they've benefited again from who's their best wins this year?
Who, Vanderbilt or Tennessee?
Yeah, Vanderbilt. Neither of them have impressive wins. I think Tennessee has. Who's Tennessee?
No, I'm with you on them not necessarily having impressive wins. I think Vanderbilt has more.
Tennessee, yeah. I mean, Arkansas.
Vandy.
It's crazy we're talking about this game as Vanderbilt sitting 9-2.
Vandy beat Missouri. They beat us, and at the time
they beat LSU.
At the time, it was not a. It was our second loss of the season, and we hadn't started the death spiral yet.
The score of the Alabama game is worse than it is in my opinion.
South Carolina.
The Alabama game. They were in that Alabama game. They fumbled the ball in the red zone.
2 turnovers is all it took to just put it away. But yeah, I think Vanderbilt's 1,000% in this game.
Never trust Tennessee. Never.
I got Tennessee. I think they do the job at home. Vanderbilt is upset because whatever we got close again, and everyone's like, oh, good win.
You want to talk about an angry fan base? Tennessee fans are angry perpetually.
Yeah.
Well, they're idiots too. I mean, just my experience with them when they came to Columbus and they were out at 6 a.m. It's like, it's a night game and it's like 5 degrees outside. And then they didn't dress appropriately, and they hung out outside all. Like I remember leaving, I was helping my buddy at the tailgate doing the cigar stuff still, And I was like, these people are idiots. They were walking to the stadium from downtown. It's like a 3-mile walk. I mean, maybe it's 2 miles, but man, it feels way longer when it's that
Freezing.
cold out and it was windy.
Yeah.
And it was like, you guys are dumb. What are you doing?
Alcohol
They have
keeps
snow-
you
they
warm.
have snow in
You gotta
Tennessee.
have that liquor jacket. Keep
It's
you
not
nice
the
and
same
toasty.
type of cold because of the wind. Like we're so flat. They have the hills that like you don't get the wind, so the cold, it doesn't feel as cold.
I'm with you on that 100%.
Yeah.
Like I've spent some time in the Upper Peninsula, and like it's
The wind.
There was a
It's
day,
the wind.
a time when I was up there. It was like 7 below, but everything was still, and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
The next day, it was like raining, and it was 40, and it was windy. I thought I was going to die.
The wind blows right through every single article of clothing you have on, and
Doesn't
it
matter.
sucks. My business, okay, it was windy and it just snowed like last Monday, and it was awful, and it's killed my business since because nobody in Ohio was ready for it. And like, I guess we're just gonna hang out until the holiday, but it's like completely killed business around here. Nobody wants to do shit because now it's cold, and then once Thanksgiving happens, everyone will go out and spend money again. If Ohio State loses to Michigan, man, does that have some economic repercussions as well. I'm not lying. It
Just go sell in
sucks.
Michigan. Shit. All right, so we'll motor through these because now we're getting into the.
You want me to pull up the scenarios, Chad?
We have to. Yeah, we have to. We have to talk about these because these do have like major playoff implications. Both of these teams are live for the playoffs. Tyler, what's your name? Tell us why.
I'll tell you why. So there is a semi 4-way, 3-4-way, as this website is going to pull up. So the easy chalk answer is if UVA and SMU win this weekend, that is your ACC championship game.
Yeah.
Nobody can say anything about it, right? But Pitt is also able to get into this game, into the ACC championship, if they beat Miami and either one, SMU or UVA, lose. That is all that has to happen for Pitt to win.
Which
Miami,
both could happen.
Miami still can get in if they win.
And
UVA,
2 teams lose.
but 3 teams.
All 3.
No. Excuse me, 2 teams. Okay, specifically, Miami has to win, UVA has to lose, Duke has to lose, and SMU has to win. And then there's like an or. It's like win, SMU lose, Duke loses, UVA loses, NC State wins, and then it's like there's like a tree of
it gets crazy.
It gets
It's the
crazy.
biggest mess.
Georgia Tech can still technically get in apparently if Pitt wins and UVA and SMU both lose, according to this website. And then Duke can apparently also still get in with a win and a Pitt loss and an SMU loss.
So I actually think Pitt is live in this game.
Definitely. It's going to be
Mario
cold and
Cristobal
gross.
has
in
shown
Pittsburgh
an
this
uncanny
weekend.
ability to kiss down his leg when it matters. And
Miami has won 1 game out of the state of Florida.
I want it to happen because I don't think Miami should be in the playoff, and I want to see them not. And plus, I think it mucks everything else up because Miami can't get in unless they get an at-large or that crazy scenario happens where they get to the ACC championship and then win it. I would rather see a team like a Georgia Tech or even Virginia, but I really want to see Georgia Tech get in there. That's why it's so annoying that they lost to Pitt last week, because I would prefer to see the best teams from each conference get in and not like some crazy backdoor scenario where like Pitt gets in there with 2 out-of-conference losses. But it is what it is. This is what we're dealing with. So,
this game does matter according to Pat Narduzzi, so they should be up and
right. It matters. So, Narduzzi should have them ready to go. This one gets crazy. Oregon is so that's 7th in the AP poll. They are 6th actually in the CFP rankings. If they lose this game, I don't know that they don't fall far enough out where like the automatic conference champion winners, like the group of 5 and your ACC champ, don't jump ahead of them, because technically if you are 11 and those teams get in, then you're kind of screwed. Or if like Texas Tech stays where they are but then loses the Big 12 championship to like a BYU or a Utah, then you get one of those teams in and it bounces. So Oregon is like legit playing for their playoff life here. very likely. And Washington, like you said, Washington has had Oregon's number for a minute. Dan Lanning, especially.
Dan Lanning is 1-3 against Washington. He's never won at Washington. I see Oregon winning, man. I think that they're pretty beat up, but they seem to be able to establish. I think Washington's better than what they're showed. For some reason, when you go to the CFP website, they have Arizona 8-3 at 25. I think Washington beats Arizona's ass every time they play, but they shouldn't have lost Wisconsin. Wisconsin had those since they committed to Luke Fickell and decided, hey, instead of paying Luke Fickell $20 million, we could just actually finally invest in our football team's roster instead of just relying on revenue sharing. So I think Oregon wins. They're very good at running the ball at this point. I'm not a big fan. I think Washington's quarterback's actually better. I think it's a close game, but I think Oregon wins.
I think Oregon takes care of business.
I think Oregon wins. But if they do win, I mean, depending on what happens in Ohio State, Michigan, this has Big Ten championship implications as well.
Can they get in?
Yeah, right,
Can they
for
still
sure.
get in? Like, is the Big Ten championship not set in stone? Like, even if Ohio
Not
State
set in
or Indiana,
stone.
No, well, what's weird is
If Ohio State loses,
like, can Michigan still get in, or is Oregon the only one?
If Oregon
Michigan only has one conference loss.
If Oregon loses, if Michigan wins, Oregon loses, and Indiana loses, I do believe Michigan can get in there.
Oh,
all right, check this out. If I think all Michigan has to do is beat Ohio State.
Really?
But if Michigan loses, or if Michigan beats Ohio State, Washington beats Oregon, and Indiana loses, then Michigan and Ohio State run it back for the Big Ten championship.
That's right.
That'd be crazy.
But Oregon has to. Oregon's in.
Indiana's not
even if
losing.
Michigan wins.
To Purdue, I don't think that the spoiler makers aren't the spoiler makers anymore.
No, not so much anymore.
Sure. Not since Jeff left and went to Louisville.
Yeah. All right, so I know this is one we're all very interested in, but
I think it's actually a very interesting game. It's at Cal.
Yeah.
Cal's quarterback's very good. SMU, they're. I mean, he's a freshman. He's pretty good for a freshman.
Sagapulatelli is.
Cal fired their coach too.
One name to say, that's for sure.
Yeah, because they got their ass beat by Stanford.
That game was sick. Did you see that?
Cal.
Did you see?
Yeah, they also lost 34-0 to San Diego State.
San Diego State's better than they're a good
the
group.
SEC team lost 34-0 to San Diego State. I would never hear the end of it. So,
well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, we're talking the ACC here. The ACC is very unpredictable. I think that's it. Thankfully, they don't have to travel too many time zones. I think it's still 2 time zones though, because isn't Dallas?
This one is 2 time zones.
Yes,
yeah.
So that could affect SMU. I don't think SMU travels very well. I think they're best.
It's easier. My experience has always been I find it easier to travel west than it is to travel east.
Yeah,
traveling west, like I'm like, hey, why is everybody still sleeping? And it's like 5 a.m. and I'm like ready to go. When I go east from there, like when I come back, it's like, oh my God, like I'm gonna need a day or 2 to recover because this like now it feels late. So, but I don't know. I mean, it is. You are still having to make the trek. But I don't know. Yeah, it's Lashley.
They went to Boston and beat Boston's ass, but also Boston stinks. They did host Louisville at home and beat Louisville's ass. I don't know. It's hard to not think that SMU is not going to win, but I
think they will.
I would not be surprised if Cal won.
No, for sure.
I think they will. I think SMU has it. You know, Berkeley, California, and Dallas, Texas, very prominent Atlantic coast cities.
That's right.
It's the All Coast. It's the All Coast Conference.
All Coast Conference, yeah, including
even though
Dallas,
Texas,
Virginia Tech, UVA. This is Virginia is not number 1. I don't know what number comes after that, but for some reason, the way this thing crunched together, it like the logo covers up one of the numbers, so they're like
producers get on that.
Yeah, right. Anyway, make your own graphics. So Virginia Tech, I don't think they have a chance. James Franklin won't be coaching them, not yet. But I think Virginia takes care of business and goes to the ACC championship game. But this is one of those little rivalry games. I don't want to spend too much time on these because Jeremiah and I are both short on time here.
Yeah,
Texas Tech,
too.
West Virginia. Texas Tech beats the brakes off of them. Texas Tech is very underrated. I think people are sleeping on them because they're just kind of flying under the radar. But they have a really, really talented team. They went and bought a bunch of dudes, and they actually are playing well together. Got a really good defense, and they put up points too. UCF BYU. This is one where it could start to get interesting if somehow UCF is able to pull something crazy off here. Per Bachmeier, I love him. The dude can run, but he can't really throw it that well. But I don't think they do. I think BYU wins this, and keeps making it interesting because like BYU, Utah, and Texas Tech are all live to potentially get into the playoff. But I think the Big 12 championship loser is going to maybe see themselves on the outside looking in. Utah, Kansas, it's really going to test the committee's claims that they aren't going to penalize you for losing your conference championship game if you have all three of these teams in the top 10 or 11, and then you have like Utah, BYU, or Utah, Texas Tech go play for the championship, and the loser doesn't get moved down outside the top 12. I think they're lying, and we will see that that's true after this happens.
Remember, they're putting together a television show.
I don't think, exactly. I don't think Utah loses to Kansas either. Notre Dame, Stanford, they're not losing that either. 32.5 might not be enough. I think we could have another Jeremiah Love. And I'm holding out hope that my $5 bet on Jeremiah Love before the season to win the Heisman will potentially pay off. Give me like a 5-touchdown game this weekend and about 175 yards, Jeremiah. That would be great. And then here you go, Tyler. This one's for you.
Boat race.
Yeah, JMU boat races.
Boat race.
JMU kills them, and then it's just a matter of seeing what happens with.
I want JMU. My perfect world scenario would be like for some reason like Georgia doesn't get to be the top 4, which is fine, and then JMU like gets like the 12, and we get to be the 5, and then Georgia and JMU get to because my cousin's on the team as an offensive lineman for JMU.
Right.
He doesn't.
Hey man, he might be transferring to Penn State soon.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's where
all right, last one. We talked about it. So it's the guys you just played, Tyler, playing against
They
Tulane.
have some sneaky decent players, but their quarterback sucks. So
will they? What if Tulane beats them worse than you guys did?
Considering we played our second and third
spread?
strings for half the game, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah. I'm thinking that Tulane's coach is going to be the next head coach of. It could be Auburn. I was thinking maybe LSU.
It sounds like Auburn is like the hot name for him right now.
Auburn, yeah, but the thing is though, and this is why Ole Miss is so pissed off right now with this whole Kiffin thing, and they need to do they've got to figure out what they want to do, and if they're really serious about this, they need to just go ahead and fire Lane Kiffin and then take the egg on their face. But I don't know how you get John Summerall to agree to come coach there then if you do that. But it's just a really shitty situation. It's hard to blame anybody except the NCAA for it being the way it is. But Ole Miss wants John Summerall if Lane Kiffin's not coming back. And I don't think Lane Kiffin's coming back. Based on everything that I've heard, the way that the energy is around that administration, everything, it's just about like they don't even want him to coach in the playoff. Like they want him gone.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You just sabotage your own.
And LSU is willing to wait.
Yeah.
LSU's like, no man, go play the playoff.
Like
go have fun, coach your team.
So is the playoff committee going to take that into consideration? Like
they've kind of like already audibly said that they will. Like
they already moved them down. They already let Oregon jump on for beating USC. Like
gonna pull a Jordan Travis.
You beat USC, big freaking deal. Look at Ole Miss's resume. It's way better than Oregon's.
Yeah, dude. They beat Oklahoma in Norman.
No, it was in Oxford.
No, it wasn't.
Was it in Norman?
No, it was in Norman. It was 1,000%
in
Norman.
Yes.
Different. In the rain, in the cold, in the rain. Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't it right after they lost to Georgia?
It was after we beat them.
And they actually gave Georgia everything they could handle. Like that was. They were scoring every possession for like 3.5 quarters. I know. Yeah, you stopped them once. Good job.
That's all it took.
I know, right?
That's all it took.
All right. Well, it is time for us to get out of here. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Look,
I would
man,
have gotten a new
Stopping by.
computer had you not invited me. I wouldn't have found this $80
Fuck
steal.
Michigan.
there you go.
Go
There you go.
Buckeyes.
Yes.
Just for this weekend.
Yeah. All right, fellas.
I need
Thank
it
you.
for Jeremiah's sake in the group chat. I need it. I need a
Yes.
W out of y'all.
Yeah.
Listen,
Oh,
for
gosh.
everybody at the South End, so we appreciate y'all for stopping by. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. For us and for y'all, happy Thanksgiving. We out.
Ladies and gentlemen. Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.